And a very good evening to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. I'm not alone tonight. Boy, I'll tell you, this has been a very lonely day. I can't remember ever experiencing a Good Friday like the one I did today. It's like the day didn't even exist. Apart from, the time that I spent communicating with my Creator, everything just seems so non-existent. I don't know how else to describe it. Non-existent? I don't know. It was a strange Good Friday. Strange Good Friday. But anyhow, I'll tell you, I'm certainly looking forward to tonight. Because, yeah, it's a Friday night. Means that the weekend's here. Big deal. I mean, the whole week's been a massive weekend for a lot of us, eh? Quite frankly. And I want to find out how Mr. Pitt feels about that in just a wee bit when we say hello to him. Actually, let me bring Mr. Pitt in just so that you see that he is there. Take a look. Take a look. Look at that smile. He must have had a pretty damn good Friday. How are you, Mr. Pitt?
I'm great, George. What did I do? Okay, I'm great. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm seeing you. It's a little bit dark in there, but I see that all the available light is on your face tonight, so we're seeing that great smile, and nice to see you, fella.
I'm trying very hard to get my lighting right.
Yeah, one of these days, but you look perfect tonight. You look perfect tonight. It's just an unusual backdrop, if you will, but pretty darn good. All right, Brian, I'll tell you what. Let's spend the whole hour together. I'm going to run some videos here, and, perhaps after each one you can comment. I'm sure you have a few things up your sleeve. I've made a note here to let you go wild on some questions that, no, seriously, I know that during the week, we were talking, and you were waiting your turn to say what you had to say, get off your chest what you had to get off. So we're going to give you a chance to do that tonight, and I bet everybody's ears out there all cocked up, So,
now, how do I get rid of that small picture up on the left again?
Okay, tap anywhere on the screen, okay, and the menu is going to come up with a little rectangle in the middle of that menu.
Yes, the green rectangle.
Right, click on the green rectangle.
Yep, that's it. We got you. You hearing me now?
Well, I was hearing you all along, and now you've told the people out there our secret. Jeez.
I am learning, George.
You're no longer a techno pheasant, are you?
No, I graduated 101. But let me start by giving you this joke, George. I listened to your introduction.
Better be good.
And I heard this one today. I slept 10 times, I ate 5 times, and it's still Friday.
So, okay, thank you. So you can understand where I'm coming from when I said today just wasn't a normal Good Friday. You understand?
Oh yes.
Man, and then to complicate things, tomorrow and Sunday are shopping days. We're going to talk about that later on, but just let me get into the rundown here and take care of the preliminaries, if you don't mind. Okay?
Nope, sure, go ahead.
All right. First, okay. Now, whether or not you heard so this afternoon, we now have 2 more confirmed cases of COVID-19. I don't know what was going on with the GIS. Earlier on in the day, they sent out a release saying that there would be a press conference at 4 o'clock this afternoon to announce the results of the 47 outstanding tests that they had. That was subsequently followed up by another press release, which said that please disregard the first press release. There will be a statement made. So that's what they did. They had Dr. George Mitchell, who is the coordinator of the COVID response team. he made an announcement. Hey, 2 more people tested positive. That's it. And we're going to run that for you in just a wee bit. So hold on. You'll see that. I also want to tip you off, folks. Be prepared for massive lineups on the weekend, in particular tomorrow. Okay? A lot of people are going to be lined up because tomorrow and Sunday have been designated as shopping days. And in preparation for that, I want to show you a video that was shot sometime this week. Somebody sent me a video of the lineup for gas. Remember one day this week you were allowed to go out and buy gas? Well, just wait until you see the length of this line down at Grandad's. I mean, it was insane. And you could imagine what tomorrow's going to be like. I also want to share a video with you which came from the Bahamas. And in it, somebody is pleading to let the COVID virus bring us together. Well, you know what? I have a gut feeling that's already happening. I really do. Then, well, as you've seen, we do have Mr. Pitt with us tonight. He's joining us. He's going to rub shoulders with us electronically tonight. And after that, we do have part of a series which we began earlier on this week. It's being sent to us by the Alliance of Evangelical Churches. They're trying to give the public some hope in these very difficult times for a lot of people, bringing hope to the nation. And tonight you're going to hear from Pastor Joachim Phillip. And then, folks, regardless of what you do during the next hour, please promise me that you will be with us for the last, I think, 3, maybe 4 minutes of tonight's program. Because I want to play a very short video for you, which I have captioned, Corona Brought Us to Our Knees. It is a chilling video. You know, there are a lot of videos out there, have been since this whole thing started, but I don't think, I've seen hundreds of them, but I don't think anyone has touched me the way this particular video touched me. So stay tuned for that. Now, let's get down to business here. Let's get down to business. Yes. Okay, we're going to start by showing you that incredible lineup down on the Maurice Bishop Highway this past week for gas. Watch this, guys.
So folks, this is True Blue. Of course there's nobody around. I came out already to go up to do my daily chores and realized what I saw outside. I went back home to get my phone. Look at this. Talk about pandemic. Look at that. See the line starts up there? It goes all the way down the stretch. This is the line for gasoline. All the way down the stretch. See that? I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. Now you see why I had to go back home to get my phone.
Bitsy, tell me now, what was your experience like? Did you get caught in that?
No. I went down around 7, and I was about number 20 in line along Port Highway.
Okay.
To go to the gas station by the post office.
Okay.
But you know, George, what that reminds me of? When we make these decisions, we are jumping to a lot of assumptions. And I listen to some of the media people from time to time. We are assuming that people have money to fill up their car when they go to the gas station. So somebody is saying that, hey, what are they lining up for? Where are they driving in the night? You know, some years ago, George, I made the conscious decision to go to the when I go to the gas station, to buy the amount of gas that I have money in my pocket to buy. So if I have $40, I buy $40 gas. If I have $30, I buy $30 gas. Not all of us can pull up into a gas station and fill our tanks.
Yeah.
So when we can't buy gas for a week, this is what happens.
Yeah. Well,
and we make that assumption that people fill up drive into the gas station and you fill your tank. Not very many of us can do that.
Well, I don't even have a car.
There you go. So let's see what's going to happen on the next gas day.
All right. Which is going to be when? Any idea when that might be?
No idea. But then again, George, this was the first day that all gas stations were open to the general public.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is about a week, huh?
Yeah. So people were hungry. You know, the part I found that really interesting, and I know that Ray Roberts got caught in this. They were told when you come up to the gas station, you have to remain in your car. Don't you dare come out.
Yes. So I sat in my car and put my feet on the curb with my door open. I was still in my car, George, but I needed to stretch my legs.
What was the purpose of that? Why did you have to sit in your car?
Well, I guess they didn't want us to come out of our car and chat with each other. That we can maintain the physical distance.
Okay.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Because if we were waiting in line, we would probably get out of our car and have a conversation with the person in front of us or the person behind us.
Yeah. Okay, that's understandable. All right, Brian, did you see the press conferences? Excuse me. Did you see the press statement this afternoon?
George, we had a press conference yesterday to announce a press briefing today. I continue to be baffled, and I know the people at GIS probably also baffled because the caption at the bottom was press conference, but it was an announcement.
Yeah.
So there must be a good reason for that. Maybe the Minister of Health and the acting commissioner of police had other things to do. Maybe they were at the new committee meeting. So George had to update us that there were 2 new cases. And now that we are testing on island, George, and the results should be a lot faster, why do we have to wait 2 days to get the results?
You're asking why?
Why?
I don't know. I thought the process would have been expedited. Obviously not.
You see, and it tells me maybe we are not told the whole truth.
Maybe
the powers that be don't want to frighten us. But I believe if they tell us the truth, we are big enough to take it.
I would like to believe that.
Yes, because this quarantine, this curfew, George, is driving people nuts. I can just imagine those people who live alone and don't have somebody to talk to other than the people on the telephone. It must be mentally frustrating.
All right. Well, just for the benefit of those who did not see the press statement this afternoon, it's pretty short. It's only about actually five and a half minutes, but that 5.5 minutes includes a statement from the Secretary General of the United Nations. So let's listen to the COVID response coordinator, Dr. George Mitchell.
Fellow citizens, good evening. I am Dr. George Mitchell, the National Coordinator for COVID-19. Today, Friday, April 10, 2020, I announce that there are 2 more laboratory-confirmed cases of COVID-19. This brings the total confirmed cases of COVID-19 presently on the island to 13. As we discussed in our press conferences earlier this week, our medical team has commenced a broader range of testing based on our modeling regarding contact tracing and timeline activities for all COVID-19 confirmed cases to date. Also, we now have the ability to conduct testing on the island. So far this week, we have tested 47 persons, of which 45 were negative and 2 positive. Both individuals are associated with one of the cases previously announced. Both individuals are stable. This brings our overall testing total to 92, of which 14 have tested positive. However, only 13 cases are on the island. Let me assure you that all our positive cases and their contacts are under quarantine. We continue to rigorously enforce and enhance our quarantine and isolation measures, and the RGPF has been a diligent partner in ensuring that all the guidelines are observed. We urge the public to inform the Ministry of Health or the nearest health facility of any individuals who are displaying acute respiratory symptoms. If you believe you are exhibiting symptoms of the virus, do not leave your house. Do not take public transportation. Do not go to any hospital or medical facility. Call the health hotline at 538-4787 or 458-4787. I remind you to please observe the curfew. Please stay inside unless there is a medical or food emergency or you are an essential worker. I urge you to wash your hands and to practice good hygiene. Wear a mask or cover your face when in public as much as possible. In closing, I would like to express gratitude to all frontline workers, including our medical professionals and the Royal Grenada Police Force, for their selfless and timely service in helping to protect Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique from this deadly disease. Let us all work together to prevent community spread and to ensure that our country wins the battle against COVID-19. I thank you.
The preceding was a COVID-19 update statement by Dr. George Mitchell, National COVID-19 Response Coordinator.
The COVID-19 pandemic is causing untold human suffering and economic devastation around the world. I recently called for an immediate global ceasefire to focus on our shared struggle to overcome the pandemic. I appealed for an end to violence everywhere now. But violence is not confined to the battlefield. For many women and girls, the threat looms largest where they should be safest, in their own homes. And so I make a new appeal today for peace at home and in homes around the world. We know lockdowns and quarantines are essential to suppressing COVID-19, but they can trap women with abusive partners. Over the past weeks, as economic and social pressures and fear have grown, we have seen a horrifying global surge in domestic violence. In some countries, the number of women calling support services has doubled. Meanwhile, healthcare providers and police are overwhelmed and understaffed. Local support groups are paralyzed or short of funds. Some domestic violence shelters are closed, others are full. I urge all governments to make the prevention and redress of violence against women a key part of their national response plans for COVID-19. That means increasing investment in online services and civil society organizations, making sure judicial systems continue to prosecute abusers, setting up emergency warning systems in pharmacies and groceries, declaring shelters as essential services, and creating safe ways for women to seek support without alerting their abusers. Women's rights and freedoms are essential to strong, resilient societies. Together, we can and must prevent violence everywhere, from war zones to people's homes, as we work to beat COVID-19.
Alrighty, Brian, that's your Secretary General of the United Nations. And while you were watching that, I was scanning through the GIS's Facebook page to see whether or not we would have a national report tonight. Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, we did not find a national report tonight. What I did see, though, is a piece that they have published there, which is acknowledging the fact that the Chinese are actually helping us to fight the scourge that's upon us right now. When I saw that, I also remembered something that was sent to me by somebody on my WhatsApp forum earlier on today about China. Because apparently China has been reaching out to various countries around the world offering some assistance. I see you nodding your head. You know about that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's an article which appeared in the Los Angeles Times today. And I want to share a few paragraphs with you because here's what it says. It says the COVID-19 pandemic has ignited a worldwide scramble for medical gear, masks, gowns, ventilators, testing kits, much of it made in China, which is attempting to recast its image as the source of the virus to the leader in the fight against it. But the narrative is threatened by a major problem: quality control. A growing list of foreign complaints about faulty medical gear and testing kits imported from China has upset Beijing's designs. Within the last few weeks, scientists and health authorities in Spain, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Turkey, and Britain have complained of faulty antigen or antibody coronavirus tests purchased from Chinese companies, in some cases costing these governments millions of dollars. Georgia has canceled a contract with a Chinese company that sent flawed test kits to Spain. And Malaysia has opted to buy testing kits from South Korea instead of China because of the Chinese tests' reported low accuracy rate. Last week, the Netherlands asked to return 600,000 face masks purchased from China that had inadequate filters and fit incorrectly. On Tuesday, Finland tested a shipment of personal protective equipment, or PPEs, from China and found the items unsuitable for hospital use. Australian border officials have also reportedly seized 800,000 faulty or counterfeit masks in China. The problem is worse at home. On March 12th, officials of a state council news briefing announced that authorities had seized more than 80 million counterfeit or faulty masks and 370,000 defective or fake disinfectants and other anti-coronavirus products in the prior month alone. Brian, you know, the person who sent this to me today was asking me the question, where are we getting our testing kits from? Legitimate question, don't you think?
George, you're onto three very important items right here. If we start with the Chinese products first, I think it is a worldwide problem that the quality of goods coming out of China in regards to COVID-19 is questionable. Almost every country has had difficulty or problems with the quality of some of these goods that our frontline people have to use. Whether it be masks or gowns or whatever, there was one case where these things were falling apart, which exposes the nose and mouth for those frontline workers in various hospitals around the place. Be that as it may, the Americans have basically advocated their leadership in the world in this instant, you know, through our dear friend to the north called Donald Trump. And they have internalized everything. They're not ready right now to deal with this pandemic, and we're going to get to that later on. But yes, there is a lot of problems with this equipment and goods coming out of China. But China is the only place that make these goods at the price that people can afford. As a matter of fact, George, some states within the US competing with each other to buy goods from China. Yes? Now, I also note just before we came on air that there was a Chinese delivery to the Ministry of Health and Foreign Affairs in Grenada. I saw it on YouTube not too long ago, where the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Health accepted some equipment from China. Now, I don't know who is going to report to us whether that equipment that we received is faulty equipment or not. However, we are glad to get this equipment from China because China is our new friend. China can provide us with a lot of things that we need, whether it be loan or grant. And we're going to need as much help as we can get as we move forward out of COVID-19. Yes? But I want to touch a minute, George, on an item at the end of the report from the United Nations. And that is a serious problem. If it doesn't exist now, I would imagine it will exist in the very near future of domestic violence in homes. And who is checking to make sure that our women are not being abused? And if they are, that there's a place for them to go. Again, we are jumping to a lot of assumptions when we say lock everything down and stay home. Yes? So people could be staying home in an abusive situation. Who do they call? Who do they report it to? Could they run out of their house and run to a police station? You know, is there something, have we set up something for these people to some place that they can call, some individual that can go to them? Because let me tell you something, George. The guy going to the rum shop to consume his alcohol on a regular day, that can't do it now, might very well be demanding certain things of his partner at home that she may not want or maybe or cannot provide, that might drive to domestic violence, you know. And I think the Secretary General of the United Nations is giving us a fair and very important warning that in all our communities, we have to be careful how we handle this mental strain that people are now undergoing. Mm-hmm. Yes, George?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to get to Dr. Mitchell because it was instructive to me on the press conference to announce this press conference that I don't want to misquote him, but words to the effect that his team was making a historic response to COVID-19, and it sounded to me like he was taking a bow, yeah. And I wondered what was the purpose of that. Did you hear that, George?
Yes, yes.
That theirs was a historic response to this COVID-19 pandemic, as if to say we are handling this thing the best in the world, and the best in the world included developing countries like the United States. Yes, George?
Yeah. You know, something that has bothered me with a lot of these so-called press conferences. I recognize the need to show your appreciation for the people who are working on the front line and trying to keep us safe. You know, but there seems to be an obsession every press conference. I gotta thank this one, and me nenen, and me tanti, and me cousin, and me bro. I gotta thank for crying out loud.
And we're doing such a good job.
Yes.
By the way, George, who are we supposed to call if I notice somebody with COVID-19 symptoms?
Well, there are two COVID hotlines as far as I know. I don't know them.
Yeah, but George, hold on a sec. If I walk down the road and I see somebody cough, and I know the person, am I supposed to pick up the phone and call and say, well, somebody just coughed?
Yeah, but
what is this about?
No, but that's ridiculous. You're not going to go panicky just because you see somebody coughing. Huh?
Yeah, but George, the whole idea that citizens are asked to report if they recognize symptoms in another person is troubling to me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the days of the PRG between 1979 and 1983. If we heard a conversation that was deemed to be counter-revolutionary, that we call a number, which, by the way, is still in operation. It's a number in the Ministry of Finance.
Okay. All right, Mr. Pitt. We have gone half an hour without acknowledging our compatriots out there, so let me say hi. Theo Richards says, a solemn hood. I guess he means, God, guys, please, take your time. I guess he means Good Friday, not a Hood Friday. Evening to all from a cool New Mexico. John out there in Carriacou is saying good evening. He says, I'm a silver surfer too, Brian. Do you understand what he's talking about?
He's what, a silver surfer?
Yeah. I'm a silver surfer too, Brian. Okay. Whatever that means. He says here on Carriacou, our shopping day is only one day on Tuesday. Okay. Theo Richard says, George, the lines at the outlets in the United States at certain outlets are just as long or even longer. I imagine so. You guys have a lot more people in the U.S. than we do. Ryan Bond saying good evening, and John Noseyneck says, Brian, petrol was only available last Wednesday here. That's in Carriacou. And now my car is doing 2 weeks to the gallon. Ryan says, Brian Pitt, fill up the tank every time at the gas station. He says he likes to pump his own gas. Well, you're not going to be pumping your own gas here. Hello, Trini62. She's saying good night, everyone. She says that you have to check in with each other, especially those who live alone. And I hope a lot of people are remembering to do that. We have an aging society here. A lot of these people are alone. You know, if even it's a simple phone call, How you doing? You're okay? Good. Theo is asking here, have any of the 13 recovered? Do you know we have 13 cases here now? I don't think any have recovered. But we also haven't lost any, right? So
right, not that we know.
Not that we know of. Trini62 says, Ryan, you're right. More like a government statement to me. Yeah, Ryan is saying that's not a press briefing. That's a government statement. And like Brian was questioning, why did you have to have a press conference yesterday to announce that you're going to make a statement today? Oh, yeah. Only in Grenada, man. I love my country. Trini62 says, it's Good Friday, George. No news. Yeah. Quiet day. Slow news day for us. China assisting America too, not just Grenada. Did you hear about Russia sending a plane load of goodies to the United States, Brian?
Yes, to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the
Who
end
would
of the
have
day,
thought? Who would have thought?
well, I don't know who would have thought, you know. I mean, don't forget that Trump's best friend is probably Putin, you know.
Yeah. Trini62 says, Ryan, the Chinese have also just announced that phase 1 of their vaccine trials have been successful. Makes you go, Trini, we're going to test those vaccines on you, Trini62. If only the Chinese knew what they were in for. John says, so the PRC is making money out of their own mistake. That's something that was being discussed on social media this week. You know, China seems to have started this thing, and now they're out of it and seem to be rebuilding their economy, doing well, while the rest of the world is gasping for breath. Brian?
You know, at the end of the day, George, and we probably won't know for a few months or maybe years when all the information is in, whether this thing started in China, whether it started in the animal markets or not. But China is going to come out of this thing looking good to a lot of third world countries. And I think we will have to decide whether we want to live, let me put it this way, whether we want to give up a lot of freedoms that we now have to live under a China-type system. Because if we are going to be admiring the Chinese progress in a lot of things, we don't know that the information coming out of China is up-to-date information or correct information. It's a dictatorship, George. It's the only country in the world that could lock down a whole province of X amount of millions of people. Yeah? Are we prepared as human beings to give up a lot of our freedoms to live in a society like China? I think that's an important question that will come to mind as we move forward.
You know, Brian, I really don't think we're going to have to wait very long to find the answer to the question you just asked about where did this thing really originate. This week, I noticed something. There's a site which you can visit via my Grenada Broadcast website, which shows you the statistics daily as far as the number of infected persons are concerned, the number of deaths, and the number of people who have recovered as well. And when you take a look, let me pull it up right now and see what the figures are. Because, Brian, when you take a look at these figures, you see that okay. In the United States, as of now, there have been 499,252 people confirmed with this, okay? Now remember, everybody was pointing fingers at the Chinese about how they this and they that and the other. The Chinese really took a licking, and they're probably still to some extent, but not as bad as before. But then you look at China. China only has 82,000, Brian. You're talking a fifth, Brian, of the infected cases.
Yeah, but you have to look at a couple of things, George. As I said, there is no other country in the world that can lock down a province the way China did because of the nature of its governance. In the United States, for example, and that could be a problem for us later on in the next few years, because America is going to become the epicenter for this problem with COVID-19 because of its healthcare, because of the less fortunate in our society, and a lot of these people are black. So the idea that a lot of black people dying, or more black people dying from COVID-19 than white people, has nothing to do with genetics. It has to do with the underprivileged section of the society. Yes, George? Whether it's in New York, California, Louisiana, or whatever. A lot of black people are dying because, number one, they wouldn't get tested. Because if they get tested, they have to get treatment, and if they have to get treatment, they have to pay for it. So they probably can't afford to get tested. Yeah? So it's exposing a lot of cracks within the American system itself. Now, bear this in mind, George. The majority of our tourists come from the US, eh?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
SGU has a lot of students from the US. So until this problem in the US can be put under control, we're going to have a travel problem with people coming back and forth from the US, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crapo smoke, we pipe.
Well, let me tell you something, George. We better pay careful attention to what is happening in the US, unless the Chinese are going to bring a lot of tourists over here from China.
But Brian, the point I was trying to make about the US versus China is that, you know, old people here had a saying, you know, when your neighbor house on fire, don't start laughing. Start, you know, wetting yours. Because we were pointing fingers at China, 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 and look at where is really getting hit right now, Brian. Isn't there some sort of message in there, Brian?
Well, the message is that the gap between rich and poor in the US have widened in the last 10 years like you won't believe. But, so when you look at Bernie Sanders' campaign strategies in regards to health care and providing for the less fortunate, it's a program that will fit right into the future of the United States, you know, but I don't very much if they're going to go down that road. The gap has widened to the point where America is not looking after its own. And,
go ahead.
You know, that's the problem. Go ahead.
All right. Let me take a little break here and we'll come back.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Coop Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our Spice Island.
Renlec, energizing our Grenada.
Conveniently located in the Grand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
All right, we're back with Mr. Brian Pitt on a Friday evening. Brian, some really cute comments here. I think you're gonna love these. First of all, oh my gosh, there's so many of them. They're going faster than I can handle. Somebody was, yeah. John in Carriacou is pointing out that Manitou is still eaten here. He says it's a new virus that could be on our doorsteps. You eat Manitou, Brian?
That's interesting. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Manitou is a delicacy.
Yeah, well, hold on. John's, sorry, Trini62 says, John, we have eaten Manitou from time immemorial. We already have the antibodies. Besides, we make sure it's well cooked before eating.
And part of the seasoning is rum. In particular, river and twine. So if you have river and twine, George,
I didn't know that.
And you season that Manitou with river and twine?
Yeah.
Ah, delicious. Yep.
Okay. All right. John says, Trini, the Chinese had eaten bats immemorial, and look at what happened. Yeah, they're thinking out there tonight, Ryan. Trini says, George, despite what people will think, the United States and Russia and the USSR before cooperated a lot more, and cooperated in a lot more areas than people think. It's us, the stupid ones, that does get caught up in taking sides. She has a point.
Oh yeah,
she has a point. Ryan says, Brian Pitt, your lady MP proposed that Chinese is feeding us Grenadians. You remember that? Whatever happened to that?
Don't bite the hand that feed you.
Thank you. He also says here, spot on, Gigi. Do not look to the USA for leadership. He says, Brian, you are the Grenada Senator Bernie. You're being referred to as Bernie Sanders, Brian. That should keep you quiet for a while. Okay. Good point. And tattoo gives leprosy. Keep away from bats. I didn't know that. Yeah. All right, Brian. I'll tell you what. I want to play something else here tonight. This is a message from the Bahamas. Somebody who is saying that, you know, really hope that this episode has brought us together. Check it out.
This is a message to the people of Earth. Yeah, that's you. The coronavirus was expected to be and labeled as the end. But truly, it is the beginning of us being one planet, one community, one world, being neighborly, being friendly, being considerate, being compassionate, respecting each other, and respecting the fact that all of us are just people. We're just people living on this one planet together, and what affects one of us can affect all of us. We're not so separated as we considered ourselves to be, us and them, and we and y'all. It's just us. To think that something that is so small could completely bring our mighty world to a halt. We had social distance before we had corona, because the only connection we had was socially on our social media. We live in a world with people we call our neighbors, but we don't even know their name. Now we're craving a human touch, that hug, that fist bump. We had become so sterile in our interaction with each other. Now we've got to be sterile, and we don't like it. Lockdown, curfew, quarantine, these are words that were not a part of our everyday language. And now you can't have a conversation without using one of them. Don't miss out on what this pandemic has done for us. It's reminded us that we are just people, that we need to get along, we need to support each other, we need to appreciate each other, we need to remember that it ain't that serious. The things that we don't want to forgive, the things that we don't want to move past, it ain't that serious. So let go of it. Corona didn't separate us. It brought us together. Countries that wouldn't even speak to each other are now having to work together. You have no choice, because this is not your problem, it's our problem. It don't matter your color, creed, it doesn't matter your social status. We are all prone to this. This is our time to come together. This is our time. This is our moment. Let's not miss it. This is our time to be human again. This is God's message to us. Let's not miss it. Mr. Politician, don't miss the message. Preacher, don't miss the message. Mom, don't miss the message. Dad, don't miss the message. Husband, don't miss the message. Wives, don't miss the message. Kids, don't miss the message. Please, whoever you are, wherever you are, don't miss this message. And don't forget the lesson. Knocked down? Yeah, but not knocked out. We will overcome this, and we will do it together as one global family.
Hi, my name is Cassie, and I'm 16 years old. I've seen on social media that the new coronavirus outbreak has provoked a lot of social stigma and discrimination. This is harmful to not only those who suffer from it, but for everyone. Stigma can isolate people. It can drive people to hide their illness to avoid discrimination, and can even prevent them from seeking medical care. So it is very important to avoid stigmatizing people. And we can all do this. How? Basically, by understanding that words matter. Do talk about the new coronavirus, but don't attach locations or ethnicity to the disease. Do talk about people who have or may have COVID-19, people who died after contracting COVID-19, but don't refer to the people with the disease as COVID-19 cases or victims. Do talk about people acquiring or contracting COVID-19, but don't talk about people transmitting COVID-19, infecting others, or spreading the virus, as it implies intentional transmission and assigns blame. Do speak and share accurate information about risk from COVID-19, but don't repeat or share rumors that are not confirmed or language that spreads fear. Do talk positively and emphasize the effectiveness of preventative measures, such as hand washing, but don't emphasize or dwell on the negative or threatening messages. Most importantly, do good. Use your social media accounts to spread facts and solidarity. This will help us to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Conveniently located in the Grandstand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Granadas will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, I'm back with my Friday night guest, Mr. Brian Pitt. Mr. Pitt, forgive me for jumping in front of you tonight. I know I mentioned at the top of the program that I know that you had a number of things you want to talk about, but I must have distracted you. So before we pull the curtain down, why don't you loosen up and start swinging?
George, there's a lot to talk about, but I want to focus on one thing. You had Bishop Harvey,
yes,
on a program last week, I believe it was, and I paid particular attention to what he had to say. And one thing jumped out at me, because as we look at the way forward, George, after COVID-19, and by the way, the last piece you played there, very relative. However, there are two problems with that delivery, with that piece. One, the average human being is a very greedy person. And number two, politics. The elephant in the room in all these conversations, George, is the politician. If you listen to Donald Trump in the last few weeks in his press briefings, all he is talking about indicates that he wants to get reelected. That's what it's about. Now, I listened to Bishop Harvey, and it was instructive that he was talking about getting politicians to debate the issues as it relates to how we move forward. Yes, George?
Yes, sir.
But the Catholic Church is a very important member of social partners.
Yes, sir.
The social partners in Grenada, very influential Catholic Church, should provide the leadership in getting government to not only plan the way forward, but to debate the issues in a public forum. And I challenge Bishop Harvey that to take this message to his partners in the social partnership, that before the next election, we get the politicians to sit down and talk about the issues as it relates to how we go forward, agriculture included. And I note there is a paper going around now about the way forward for agriculture, which as far as I'm concerned is nonsense. Because we've had several of those. You heard of the ARD, George?
Yes, sir.
After Hurricane Ivan, 14 years ago.
Yes, sir.
We brought a special guy from Trinidad to head this organization that was going to plan the way forward for the rural economy, which would have included agriculture. Yes, George? I don't hear anybody talking about a percentage of the transformational fund for agriculture. I don't hear anybody talk, and this is what's happening now, George? Talking about the importance of the MNIB, the marketing board, in delivering our produce, our fish, and our chicken or poultry to market. That's where we have to start the conversation. We should not be admiring what's happening out of St. Vincent, because they have worked on that. For years they have worked on that. But we have concentrated on building hotel rooms. And we fooled all the people in pretending that when we build the rooms, the jobs will come. The elephant in the room in Grenada, George, is the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell. In a press conference that he had recently, he put on his political hat. You remember that, George? What does his political hat have to do with the recovery from COVID-19? All these guys in the region, George, and I don't know there's any exception, is all thinking about re-election. They're not thinking about a long-term plan to get all these economies forward. And let me tell you something. The American economy is not going to survive in anywhere soon. I hear they're talking about opening up the American economy at the end of May or July or August or whenever. That thing is not going to be open for a while. And then what's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
So, Bishop Harvey, talk to the other members of the social partnership and see how you could assist. And not only assist in planning the way forward, but assist immediately in disbursing the stimulus package, George. Because I hear politicians talking about who should benefit from this package. Do we know who the farmers are? Do we know who the fishermen are? Do we know who the vendors are? It tells me, George, that we're going to weaponize this stimulus package to please those people that support us. So maybe Bishop Harvey and his social partnership can talk to the government of Grenada and say to them, we will handle the disbursement of the stimulus package. And Mr. Prime Minister, we want you and all your politicians, as we approach the next general election in Grenada, to debate the issues in a public forum.
You know, Mr. Pitt, that's great. Hey, listen. I want you to listen to what I have to say now. Mr. Pitt, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I intend, after we're through with this program tonight, I'm going to sit down here and electronically chop out that little piece you just did about Bishop Harvey and send it to him, because I believe it's something he ought to hear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send it to him.
Please. And if he wants to give me a call, give him my number so we can have a conversation, because I think the social partners are very important as we go forward, George. And it's about time that they step up to the plate and stop being a co-governance partner without taking responsibility for where and how we go forward.
Okay. We may have something going there. John in Carriacou says, will the people wake up and realize this is the only world we have? It's a question from John. Ryan says, Buddha teaches about the connectedness of life, and COVID-19 pandemic is driving that idea home. One world and one love. No sectarianism, Mr. Donald Trump. And Brian, John says to you, spot on, Brian. canvassing on the back of COVID-19. And that's exactly what's been going on. It's pathetic. Can you believe people will stoop that low? People you have elected and given the right to run your affairs would actually stoop that low at a time like this? You know, that's another reason why, Brian, there are two more video clips that I have to play. I'm going to play the first one now. It's an inspirational that's put out by the Alliance of Evangelical Churches. They've done a series of these little 5-minute clips where they're trying to provide hope to the Grenadian people. That's what I'm going to play first. But the one I really, really want Grenada to see is the last one I'm going to play. It's a video that shows how COVID-19 has literally brought the world to its knees. And perhaps our politicians better get down on theirs before they're forced to. First, Pastor Joachim Phillip from the Alliance of Evangelical Churches.
Good day. My name is Pastor Joachim Phillip, pastor of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies, and also the first vice president of the AEC. Today is a day when we are going to bring to you a message of hope. I want to just share with you for a short moment that this season that we're living in is a temporary season. It is not a permanent time. It's temporary because God still remains in control. His compassion and his love towards us is for us, towards us. It is strange that love expressed by our Creator and Maker is seen sometimes as not being active. But I want to say to you that the love of God is active and alive and well. His love is always abounding. Despite what we go through in life, he still remains a loving God. And so for this, we want to talk a little bit from our famous portion of scripture. Every Grenadian knows it. John 3:16 and 17. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. And then verse 17 said, he has not sent his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that through him this world might be saved. God is interested in helping, in loving a whole of humanity. You see, the cross is a symbol of love, a symbol of justice, a symbol of hope, a symbol of grace, a symbol of freedom. The reality of it is that God saw us in a state where we were helpless and hopeless and not having any hope in this world. And he gave us hope by sending his only begotten Son so that we might have life and have it more abundantly. When Jesus Christ came into this world, his whole message was the message of the kingdom, that God loved humanity so bad that he will sacrifice his one and only for me and for you. And so I want to say to you today, the love of God is such that he is the one that wants to redeem this earth. But at this time, as we go through this COVID-19 period, I want you to reflect upon the fact that God is still gracious. There are things that we can be thankful for. There are things we can be happy for as Grenadian people. But we reach out to the world to let the world know that the love of God still abounds. Brethren, there is one thing that God does, and does it well. There's sometimes he would save us from some things, and there's sometimes he will take us through some things. At this point in time, we're going through something, but guaranteed, his promise is that he will never leave you nor forsake you. And so all the persons that are going through difficulty at this time, I'm going through a period of seemingly hopelessness, and the persons that are dying, and the person, we are praying that you get through this period. Loss of family, loss of job, loss of hope. We're bringing hope to you to say to you at this time that Jesus Christ is still on the throne. He loves you, and he's asking simply, give him an opportunity with your life. And as you give him an opportunity with your life, he will indeed cause your end to be much better than this time we are experiencing. The Bible says to us, he loves us so much that if we believe on him, he says he would give us eternal life. Whosoever. It does not have creed, color, race, status. It doesn't matter. Whosoever call on his name. And then he says, I didn't come into this world to condemn the world. So there's no condemnation in God. There's no condemnation. He says the world must be saved through him. So he came to save and not to condemn. And so we want to speak to you, and we say to you, whether saved or unsaved, whether believer or non-believer, that there is hope in the love of God. And the love of Christ can take you through this period. Reflect on him. And there's some simple things you do at this time. You ask Jesus to come into your life, to come into your heart. Lord, I'm facing a difficult time. Come into my life and my family and my world at this time and brings a sense of strength and a sense of hope. And I'm telling you, he will. You see, for me, it wasn't the wrath of God that caused me to surrender to him. It was the love of God. When I saw somebody loving me so much that he would ransom his life for mine and for yours, I said, this is a person I can trust with my life. And so I want to encourage you, trust the Lord today and be encouraged. This period and this season is not permanent, but God, keeping ability, is consistent and permanent. God bless you.
Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart is torn in pieces. It's my offering. Take me to the King.
All right, Mr. Pitt. Just about time to say bye-de-bye-de-bye. I'm going to give you one final shot. Take it away, my friend. Whatever you want to vent on.
I don't want to vent on anything in particular, George, but to say, and I think Bishop Harvey did mention it, the powers that be, George, and some of our radio personalities are jumping to a lot of assumptions about why people do what they do. Whether it's people standing in line to shop in the supermarket or people lining up to buy gas, we are assuming a lot of things. We are assuming that everybody has a lot of money. We are assuming that single parents have somebody to stay with their kids when they go shopping. We are assuming that, you know, I don't know, that everybody's like us, privileged like some of us, that have a bank account. And I was talking to somebody today who couldn't pay their rent because the bank was not open because their telecard was expired. And they can't access the ATM machine because the telecard was expired at the end of February. You know, so people have different circumstances. So we cannot believe that when somebody goes to the supermarket, they have enough money to buy groceries for a month. A lot of people have enough money to buy groceries for a day. Somebody pointed out to me that, you know, people sell stuff on the side of the road to make money, not only to replace the stock, but to buy stuff for the following day. Yes? So if the grocery store opens 7 days a week, George, people have to shop for 7 days a week. Don't assume that they have money to shop for the month. Yes? So let's think of the other person. before we jump to conclusions and criticize and call them all kinds of names because they're not socially distancing themselves, physically distancing themselves when they stand in a line, because they're afraid that the 4 hours given to shop, they would not get to the front door. Let's stop jumping to conclusions, George, and look at people the way they are.
You're almost echoing the words of Bishop Harvey, because
yes,
he recently did a piece where he was calling on Grenadians. I'm paraphrasing here, but he was saying, stop pointing fingers and take a look at you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, BP. As always, appreciated, but don't go. I got to read my parting word. And then, Brian, and then I want you to watch this little video. Please, hold on a sec. Trini62 says, Brian, I could kiss you for that statement about assumptions that people are making about people who wanted to get gas and line up for hours to get food. But in many cases, those are making assumptions. But in many cases, those are making assumptions have never, I don't think she completed her comment. What is it to live in those shoes? Hey, Trini 62, you're slipping.
Now we know what she means. We know what she means.
Okay. All right. Ryan says, prophecy and politics, Brian Pitt. Read the book of Revelations. Church in Grenada needs to be involved in liberation theology. Theo says, Brian, you're a great carpenter this evening. You're hitting all the nails right on the head. Okay. Parting word, Brian, and then that video. Tonight's reading comes from the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 2, verses 1, 2, and 3. Gather together, gather yourselves together, you shameful nation, before the decree takes effect, and that day passes like windblown chaff, before the Lord's fierce anger comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's wrath comes upon you. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the land, you who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger. Zephaniah chapter 2, verses 1, 2, and 3. Pilgrims, I'm going to take a day off tomorrow and maybe try and get some shopping. Brian, you come and pick me up to go shopping tomorrow? Nah.
I just have enough gas to go shopping for myself, George.
So Georgie Porgy is out of luck.
No, Georgie Porgy you can walk down to the car now, George.
Yeah, man. Sure,
and don't forget, you're a senior citizen, huh? So you have preferred shopping.
Brian.
You can go to the front of the line, George.
Brian, walking down to the carnage ain't no problem, Brian. It's climbing that hill back up. Climbing back up that hill, because me ain't taking no bus. I ain't taking no bus. Well, buses aren't running, are they? But
buses aren't running, George.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, please, just look at this video. It's 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. And stop very quietly and ponder what you're actually seeing here. This, my friend, is chilling, really. There you have it, folks. I have no idea, none, where that was shot. I have no idea what bit of music that was, or what language, or whatever. I have no idea who sent that to me. What I do know is that it hit home hard, real hard. And I can't help but think, if this is what the coronavirus has brought us to, it's been the greatest blessing we will ever experience. It's hard to talk. Good night. God bless you.